For centuries, philosophers and mathematicians believed that reality could eventually be captured within a perfectly logical system. If every statement followed clear rules and every truth could be derived step by step, then perhaps the entire structure of mathematics and maybe even the knowledge itself could stand on the unshakable foundation. In the early 20th century, two brilliant thinkers, Bertrand Russell and Alfred North Whitehead, attempted exactly this. They set out to rebuild all of mathematics purely from logic. Their monumental work, Principia Mathematica, tried to prove every mathematical truth from a small set of logical principles. They were so rigorous that it took them hundreds of pages just to prove something as simple as 1 plus 1 equals to 2, and they couldn't prove it. Their dream was clear: to construct a perfectly complete logical system for mathematics. But in 1931, something extraordinary happened in the field of knowledge and the field of mathematics. A brilliant mathematician named Kurt Gödel proved that this dream is impossible. Gödel showed that any sufficiently powerful logical system will always contain truths that cannot be proven within that system. No matter how carefully the system is built, something will always escape it. He proved this using a clever idea called self-reference. To understand self-reference, consider a very simple sentence. Simple sentence like, "This sentence is false." Now think about it. If the sentence is true, then what it says must be correct, which means it is false. If it is false, then what it is saying is wrong, which means it must be true. You see, the system cannot decide. The system refers to itself and the logic collapses. Logic goes into this self-referential black hole and it collapses. You see, this importance and the uncanny behavior of self-reference. Once the system starts referencing itself, the self is the important word here. Logic collapses. To see how surprising this was, remember what Russell and Whitehead had hoped to achieve. They believed that with enough logical precision, mathematics could become a perfectly complete and secure system, self-sufficient. Gödel proved that such a system can never exist by principle, will never exist. There will always be true statement that the system cannot prove from within itself. After this realization, Russell continued shaping analytic philosophy and social thought. Whitehead, however, took a very different path. We will talk about A and Whitehead in some other video. He gradually stepped away from mathematics and turned towards metaphysics, believing that reality could not be fully understood through formal logic only. Instead, he began developing a philosophical version of reality as a dynamic process rather than a static system, an approach that later became known as process philosophy. You see, my point is, every system has limits. Now consider the human mind. The mind also works through systems, through concepts, language, and categories. Philosophy itself is a conceptual attempt to understand reality. But the mind is also the part of reality it is trying to understand. So when the mind tries to grasp the absolute, it encounters the same difficulty. You see, a set within the superset trying to understand the superset is impossible. Mind, being part of reality, cannot grasp reality by principle. Again, a system cannot fully capture itself. And the conceptual mind cannot fully capture the ground of reality. Reality always exceeds the concept we use to describe it. Of course, the French philosopher Georges Bataille, about which I made a video, believed that reason eventually reaches a limit. Beyond that limit lies something that cannot be contained within concepts. Moments of ecstasy, sacrifice, or mystical experience push us beyond the rational understanding. At that point, philosophy falls silent. Interestingly, many traditions end in the same place. Remember, my favorite philosopher, Ludwig Wittgenstein, once wrote, "Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent." The ancient Indian text, of course, describes the ultimate reality through the phrase "neti neti," not this, not this. Perhaps the purpose of thinking is not to completely capture reality. Perhaps thinking takes us to the edge where it finally discovers its own limit. And at that edge, something deeper begins. When mind reaches its own limit, reality begins. Presence of being can only be felt when concepts find their own limitation. The net of concepts can never encapsulate the absolute. It's like trying to catch water through the fish net. You need to become water in order to understand the water. You need to become one with being itself in order to understand reality. You need to become one with reality in order to understand it. By not understanding it, Chit has to subside, has to become one with Sat. You see, mind, conceptual mind, has to become one with existence itself in order to understand. By not understanding, I repeat, a Zen paradox.
I'd say don't try to understand it, just feel it.